studio today, 239 Uncensored, Politicking with Larry Love, brought to you by Becker Custom Builders, Jimmy P's Burgers, and more. And we have our third sponsor in studio today with us, Miss Lauren Maxwell. Before I introduce you, I'm going to let Larry give you the flowers that you deserve, but I just wanted to give you a quick shout out to what can I say that hasn't been said, but we're just extremely grateful, not only for your sponsorship, but your support. You're one of those people, if you reach out to, you're always accessible. And, besides helping the community, we're just extremely grateful and honored to have your name on our podcast. It means a lot to us. And Larry's going to give the flowers that you so rightly deserve.
Listen, I always give Lauren the flowers, but you done said everything, but I can say about Lauren, man, she's just such a wonderful human being, such a wonderful person. And I'm so grateful that, you are in my life. I'm grateful that you are a friend. I'm grateful that I can call you anytime, but you always stepping up to the plate. And I am definitely grateful for the stuff that you do for the town of Immokalee. And it brings me so much joy, love, and a privilege to have Miss Lauren Maxwell on our show.
You forgot one thing.
What's that?
The Queen Bee is here.
That's the Queen Bee. Yeah, we nicknamed you the Queen Bee.
Well, after all those accolades, have fun, you guys. That's great. Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. This is exciting.
So we're going to get right into it, Lauren. What makes Lauren Lauren?
Well, that is a very large question.
Tell us where to start.
Where to start? I don't know. I'm just me. I'm a simple girl from Framingham, Massachusetts.
Tell us a little bit about your background, though, because I'm fascinated, because I know you're the definition of self-made, and to get where you are, because you are when I think of real estate, mortgage, there's no one else
in the country.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I've shared my story a little bit around town and when I speak, but basically I, grew up middle-class family, young parents, and I have a brother. I graduated high school. I went to 2 years of college, and the day I got out of college, I got a phone call from a childhood friend of my mother's who was the first woman mortgage banker in the state of Massachusetts. And she said, hey, go interview with one of my people in the mortgage business. Now, I didn't know what a mortgage was. So I said, all right, they sent me on an interview. I wanted a job. Back in those days, people didn't go get a job because it was money. They got a job because they wanted a career. They wanted to have a job. So I went to interview. I never asked about money. They're talking to me about Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. I'm thinking, Fannie Mae? I didn't know mortgages had to do with chocolates. This is how naive I was. Anyway, I got this sales position, and I never looked back. 37 years later, I am still doing the same thing. What I can say is that I started at the very bottom. So when I hire people today, I don't ask them about education. I want to have people who work. Hard work to me means more than anything. Most of my successful people who are in operations have started out as my receptionist, so they could actually learn from the bottom, because really it starts there. You walk into my office, and if I have somebody sitting behind the desk who is not kind to a customer, who answers a phone, who isn't good, or who doesn't have a smile on their face when they walk in, that's what they're going to think. The impression of Lauren Maxwell and her team would not be good. Mm-hmm. So anybody who works for me has to be friendly, customer service friendly, have a smile on their face, and be kind to my clients. And that's where we begin as far as operations go. And I can tell you, I have people who started out making $20,000 a year who are in six figures now because they started where they are. Rome wasn't built in a day. Being successful is not built in a day. So again, people come to interview with me. I can tell you, I don't hire people when the first thing they ask me is, when can I make money like you make? Or how much money am I going to make? When is my vacation? If those are your questions, then you probably don't want to work for me. Yeah. I'm just going to be straight up.
I know what you do. And I know, of course, I had dated a young lady that worked for you. And I know what you're not going to ask no one to do anything that you won't do or what you have not do. And I know, we didn't try to meet up for lunch, dinner, whatever. And I'm like, you working from the morning to late. And you really don't have to, but you do. So, like, why?
I love it.
I knew she was going to say.
I won't. All right. A typical day. Okay. So I have to get lots of stuff in my days, right? So I sometimes have to go to a dinner appointment, or we've been out in Lee County because, with that hurricane, Lee County is a disaster area. Okay. Well, all these other companies won't close the loans because it's a disaster and hasn't been lifted. They have to have appraisers go back out. Those take 2 weeks. We have my whole team are all out in Lee County every day doing inspections on houses, taking pictures so we can still close loans. We're still closing loans as of yesterday, every day. So I love it. So whatever I do, I built my life around it. So last night I got home at 8:30 at night, and literally Dan was at a commission, one of his things. He comes home at 9 and he starts to talk. I go, honey, I love you, but like I have to finish working. So at 11 o'clock when I was done working on the couch, then we go to bed and we can talk. I just really love it. Like, addiction.
Yeah.
I am addicted to my career.
Yeah.
I believe it. And it's very impressionable. I'm very impressed by how you go about your business. I really am. So when I'm done doing what I'm doing, I'm going to work for Lauren Maxwell. Because it's competitive.
It's competitive. And if you're a hard worker and you really want to look in the mirror every day and say, I want to do better than I did yesterday, I'm the person to come work for.
And you remind me a lot of my mom, the kind of the hiring story you said. So I just want to give a shout out to my mom. So when she interviewed at her job at Marissa Collections in 1994, her English wasn't that great. She, didn't really have a great resume in terms of the U.S. She did back in Europe. And she told Marissa, well, I'll work for free for a month to prove myself. And Marissa was like, wow, but we can't do that. So we'll start you off at, a couple bucks an hour. 30 years later, she is still there, top fashion stylist. And let that be a lesson to people who are interviewing for jobs. It's not all about the money. It's not all about when you have the time off. It's putting the work in and showing people that you want that job. And with a company like obviously Maxwell Mortgage, you can grow. So that's great advice for any people out there interviewing.
What you put in is what you get out.
You just talked about that with money, and I know sometimes it's hard to believe with people. They see me, they think I'm all fancy. I still don't do it for the money because I still help people who want to buy a $75,000 manufactured home. I work on transaction because that person who I might do a $75,000 manufactured home, I'm going to help them where other people won't because they don't want to either work for that, that kind of money. It's a lot to do when you do manufactured homes, whether they're $300,000 or $75,000, whether it's a $75,000 condo or more. They're so happy, and I give them the same respect, the same time, the same energy that I would if you came to me and you needed a $3 million loan. Those clients are going to tell everybody, and they're going to be appreciative. So I'm probably going to get between 2 to 5 deals just from that one client. And then guess what? That client's going to want to move up. So I'm going to try to help them buy 5 homes in 5 years.
Yeah. A perfect, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but transition that we can just talk briefly. One of our other sponsors, Becker Custom Builders. Blake mentioned on the show, you helped him get in his first house when he thought he couldn't get in his first house. You did. And look at that relationship now.
That is true. And now, I'm so proud of him. He's just become so successful. And again, if the people who are becoming successful, it's only money, I think if it happens, great for them, but I think it will take longer. I think you should do it because you love it. And then when you're good to people and the money comes and, again, but it's so not about that. There are times that we give away our commission at closing because we just have to make a deal work. Things have happened during the time. So realtors will say, hey, can you kick in? And I always will say, whatever you kick in, I'll match it.
Hey, listen, I know one thing. You definitely give away a lot of money. You help all type of charities and indigent individuals. And again, you're a blessing to not only me, but to Southwest Florida.
You really are. I always find out at like random dinners or whatever, how much stuff you do behind the scenes too. It's just mind blowing. So it's an absolute blessing to have you in our community.
You ask her something, I'm telling you, this is her word. Sure, honey. That's her word, honey. It ain't no problem, honey.
Lois Boland had something last night. When I was driving to my next appointment, I happened to have been at a light, so I checked social media. And there was an older retired lady who was in, I don't know if it was Lee County or wherever she was, and she didn't have a bed. And all I can think of is driving to my next appointment. Can you imagine my grandmother, when I grew up, she lived in an efficiency because she loved it. She didn't want to have to deal with, taking care of a lot of things. But imagine if that happened to her and she had a little efficiency or whatever it was, and she had a flood and she didn't even have a bed to sleep in. So it's like, it wasn't even a thought that, I just called Lois, and I don't always text. I'm like, what do you need? I mean, just tell me how much it will be and get it delivered, and I'll Venmo you, or I'll call the place and send you that. So if people can see just beyond financial, like, this woman was not going to have a bed to sleep in. Think about that. Imagine your mom sleeping on a floor. Right? There's just like, we live in a community. There's no need for that.
Yes.
And I saw Mike Randall's trying to take a truck up to North Carolina, and Lauren's like, 5K in what
500.
Or was it 500? Okay, sorry. Okay, I misread it. But whatever the case, still, I mean, just no.
To whom much is given, much is required, and you definitely, I always say, you live up to it.
Wow.
You really do.
And the fact that she does a lot of the stuff you don't even know about, but you don't do it for publicity. I know your heart's in the right place.
Yeah, I'm not good at taking pictures and being all over social media.
You look good, though, on the pictures. So no disrespect to Dan. So real quick, because I know you got to run, I wanted to just talk about current real estate. But give us the playback when you first met Commissioner Kowal. Was it the eyes? Had to be the eyes, right?
Actually, it was kind of dark. We met at Burn.
Of course.
Believe it or not. And I was with two of my owners of my company at that time, and I was the designated driver that night. So we stopped in after we had dinner at Chops, and in a bar like Burn, it's mostly men. I'm a single, female. I don't need a man to take care of me, so I dated a lot, and I could pick and choose. And Dan came over and talked to me, and I didn't remember. And he said, can I get your number? But again, I'm around a lot of people, and he was a detective at the time. And I said, hey, you're a detective. If you're that good, find me.
That's cool.
I guess he did good.
But I did go that night when I got home on social media. I'm thinking, was he good looking enough? Was he chunky? Was he? I swear, I was stalking him a little bit. Anyway, he called me a couple of days later. It took us, a while to get together. We were busy with our own children, our own lives. And so we dated for a little bit, but then we went on friends mode for over a year, and he was very patient, and we built a friendship. So he's my best friend.
That's what's up. The Brady Bunch.
I say to him sometimes, because I see people, and there's a lot of drama, and I'm so grateful because we have a very easy relationship, and I'm like, why is it so hard? And what he said to me, trust. He said, people don't trust each other. And if you don't have that, you don't have anything. And that really is true. Like, I would never in a million years think, I trust Dan with my life. And, I'm out with males a lot, and I have a lot of male friends, and he trusts me explicitly, because if you don't have that, what do you have?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And comfortable in your own skin too. And we'll leave Commissioner Kowal alone, but do you like Dan better in the police uniform or the suit and tie? You're going to embarrass Commissioner Kowal a little bit.
Well, I loved his uniform when I first met him. He was on an undercover. It was like a set team. It wasn't undercover, but it was the real, gang unit things. And I liked that outfit.
Yeah.
And he would have his bulletproof vest on a lot. He would come see me at night. He would work the night shift. So he'd stop by to kiss me goodnight before we would ever even live together. It was kind of cool.
Lauren, you saying a lot. You like, he worked the night shift. And he coming over with his uniform on. So
I like uniform. Listen,
we don't want to
on.
embarrass Dan anymore.
All right, Dan. I know you watch.
We love Dan.
I know what's going on, Dan.
That's my thing. I like the fact that Dan could lift me up with one hand. Okay.
Nothing wrong with
Say
that.
less.
Nothing wrong with that.
But for seriousness, though, I do want to tell people out there, for anybody who's listening to your show, okay. If you are a renter and you don't own a house and you feel hopeless, or you feel like you can't, or you're not in the right position, I tell people, don't wait until you may be ready or you're not sure. Don't ever feel funny about calling me, because I'm free. It's a consultation. I'm never going to say no to you. What I might say is, listen, you can't do this now. However, let's build this. And it might take you 3 months, 6 months, a year. Prepare yourself. It doesn't matter where you live. I can help you anywhere in the country. And I don't want people to feel helpless, because right now rents are going up and up. So I hate to bring it back to business, but I'm there to help you.
Yeah.
So if you ever want help, and whoever's listening to the show, if you don't speak great English and you feel funny, and you from a Latin background, or and you speak Creole, we help everybody. I actually became successful helping the Latin and the Haitian community in Naples and East Naples. I used to work in a trailer in Naples Manor. After I put my kids to bed at 8:00 at night, I would have a lady named Tracy Hernandez, who is a realtor, who would be translating, and a guy, Homer Hippolyte, who's still doing real estate to this day, translate. And back then we didn't have computers.
Mhm.
Okay, it was
Wow.
all by hand, and I was
Mm.
the one who knew how to do these and put these mortgages together on
Mhm.
government loans and with government programs and down payment assistance. And that's really how I made my mark. And I still help to this day. That's my clientele. So I just want to make sure everybody knows I'm not all fancy and all that. I am your regular, everyday lender who I want to help you buy a house. Okay, not buy a house as far as real estate. I'm the mortgage person. I'm the bank. I'll set you up with a realtor. However, I want to help you get to that point or get secure enough that you know you can one day, even if it's not today. So I don't want anyone to feel funny because they're giving me all these accolades like I'm some wealthy lady. That's not me. I am your regular, everyday mortgage lender here in Naples. I help
best.
everybody all over the country. So I just don't want anybody to feel helpless.
Okay. I want my house in Gray Oaks.
Big fees there. When you take Patrick Dearborn on vacation, does he bounce around the house like he does in normal?
He's a little more calm, you
Okay.
know. Him and Lisa get up super early. They're like 5 a.m.
He does-
risers,
I get it.
and they go for walks, and they're out on the dock. So by the time Dan and get up 7:38, they're already like in the kitchen. So he is a little more mellow.
Okay,
There. He's
that's-
still doing business.
That's good to hear. Shout out to Patrick
Yeah.
Dearborn.
Has my invitation expired to Georgia?
It
'Cause-
has not.
Okay, I'll just check because I got to get up there.
Different house, different
see,
house.
yeah, I got to get up
but
there.
yeah, you
You-
come up.
All right.
And
I
then-
don't go up as much as we used to because we have a daughter in high school and she has a lot of volleyball in school, so we don't get up as much. But once she's out of school, I'll be there more. We'll go up for Christmas, New Year's, and I do go up in the summer. And Danny goes back and forth.
That's right. I forgot. You remember we were leaving out the Alamo. You was going to a softball
Volleyball.
volleyball, and the rental car had Suburban had a flat tire.
And what did my husband do?
He got out there looking like a sex symbol. He came all up out his shirt. Yeah, let me get this thing right.
It's Dan's time to
Dan
shine.
Kowal can do anything
I
from
believe
fixing
that.
a freezer to electrical panels to doors to he does my hair.
Except he
Dan,
can't.
you the man, Dan.
can't
Dan, you are the man.
The only thing he can't do is answer rapid fire questions. But other than that, yeah,
He's a methodical thinker. You're right.
Yeah,
Yes, he
everything's
definitely is.
process. Ain't that the truth? And we'll let you run, Lauren. I know you got to run. We're grateful you came. Want to give a shout out to Mike Randall, Legends Concert Series. I know you're the main sponsor behind that. If you just want to take 30
Yeah.
seconds and talk about the upcoming show and how you got involved.
So we have these amazing concerts we do, and they're very affordable. So go online, the Maxwell Mortgage Legends Concert Series. They're the first Friday of every month. We start the first one November 1st, I think it is, and it's outside at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex. It's going to be country, the first one. I think it's Garth Brooks and a few others. They're all headline what do they call
Acts,
them?
yeah.
Anyway, it's wonderful time. You're all outside as a community. We have veterans come up. We honor police, fire. So anyway, they're amazing events. And again, they're very affordable. So if you want a good time to come out at night and it's not expensive and you listen to live music, we'll be out there. We would love for you to join us. Go find your tickets online, Maxwell Mortgage Legends Concert Series.
Absolutely.
Thank you again for coming
Thank you,
on,
Lauren. Huge
Anytime.
honor. Thank you for
And
everything that you do.
We letting it be known now. Lauren will be on the show at least once a month. And
So
she's
we're
going to keep
hold you
us
to it.
updated
On
on,
real estate,
mortgages
yeah.
and real estate and so forth.
And don't be scared of that market, guys, because the rates you can still get, they're not bad right now. And so please don't be scared. It's still cheaper than paying rent.
Buyer's market or seller's market right now?
Well, unfortunately, fortunately for you, it's a buyer's market. So
market.
sellers are sitting a little bit longer, but it's just averaging out, the leveraging their pricing. But I'm going to tell you, I'm one Maxwell mortgage team. All right. We have 2 or 3 offices and we closed 140 loans in September. So, we're still very busy. So when you hear, the market's dying, the market's that is just not true. Okay. That
So
is not true.
refinancing and all.
I haven't even done so many refinances. We're just starting to kick in. I'll start calling my other clients that are over 7 and I'll be able to get them in the 5s. As long as they have the equity in the house. Okay. So, so sometimes they're a little bit, they might have paid a little bit high. You just have to check it out. But purchases, 95% of what I do is all purchase business. and
Okay.
they're out there. So don't let people steer you wrong. Don't listen to your uncles, your friends, your parents. I'm serious. If you want to get true advice, let's at least run numbers. And then you can make a decision, because everybody knows how to do a mortgage, right? Everybody knows how to buy and sell a house. Unless you do it day in and day out, they don't really know. Okay.
That works.
Give Miss Lauren a call, Maxwell Mortgage Team.
Please do.
The
She's the
best.
best.
Thank you, Miss Lauren.
Bye, you guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me.
No doubt.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Thank you.